Hi everybody, good afternoon. My name is Alex DeLeon and I lead our product team for Instagram Asia Pacific. And as part of that job, I have the privilege of connecting with brands, large and small, all across Asia. And one of the things that I get asked a lot about is about influencer marketing. Why does it matter? How do you measure? And more importantly, how do you effectively collaborate with influencers? So I want to start with a story about why I think influencer marketing matters. One of the random passion points that I have is around jeans and denim. And I follow this account on Instagram named Sir Jones. And one of the things I notice about him is that he's always posting really cool stuff. So I really like the clothes that he wears, a lot of really cool, rugged, manly stuff. Normally it's usually these foreign brands like Red Wing or Filson. But one day I noticed a post that he had, and he was posting about a brand in the Philippines called Leon Denim PH. I started to scroll through the content that they had. I saw all the different products that they have, the jeans, the shirts, the pants. I said, okay, I'm pretty interested, so let me try to find out a little bit more. So in this case, what I did was I slid in their DMs. So for anyone who's not a millennial in the room, this means that I messaged them on Instagram. So I was asking a little bit more about the brand and what they do. And I said, okay, I'd love to check out your jeans, I'd love to try some on. And one of the challenges though, is that they are such a small brand that at the time, they only had their apartment where they were actually having people come over. But I was really curious about it, so I said, okay, you know what, I'm gonna come visit you guys anyway. So two of the guys that I met, Raul and Jake, really nice guys. I went to their apartment, tried it on, really enjoyed their jeans. So I ended up buying this pair here, and then when I went and ran a marathon in North Korea a couple of years ago, I was wearing their jeans as well, and then they posted me on their Instagram account. And so when I think about this story, there's collaborations like this that are happening every single day, every single moment of the day. And this is happening on Instagram everywhere around the world. And I think that when we look at the overall industry, what we're seeing are two very, very interesting stats. The first one is that Business Insider estimates that about $15 billion is going to be spent on influencer marketing in the next couple of years. So it's a huge amount of investment that brands are making on influencer marketing. And more interestingly for me is that Instagram is far and away the preferred platform for influencer marketing for all brands. I think that it comes down to two different insights. The first one is we did an unprecedented global study of 22,000 people around the world. And we asked them, why are you coming to Instagram? What are the things that you expect to see on the platform? And about 70% of people said that they were coming to Instagram specifically to interact with influencers. And then another interesting insight that came out of that was this idea of us saying, okay, so you're coming to interact with influencers. How do you feel about brands and products? About 80% of people said that they're coming to Instagram specifically to discover new products, new brands, to research them, and then decide if they want to buy them as well. And so when you combine these two insights together, people coming to Instagram specifically to interact with influencers, and then you add that to this idea of coming with a commerce mentality, wanting to learn about new products and services, this is where you start to get really, really, really compelling, interesting marketing. So brands are starting to realize that this is something that works, but they don't really know how it works, and they don't know how to measure the effective return on investment. So this is the second question that I want to answer. If you're using influencers, you're doing influencer marketing, how do you actually effectively measure the results of those campaigns? And so on the product side, and this is where I spend the majority of my time, we've had something available for the last year or so that we call branded content. And what this is it's really just disclosure at the end of the day. So if you're an influencer or a content creator and you're working with a brand, you tag the brand, and then it says in paid partnership at the very top. And the goal behind this specific product was really just for transparency across the board. And one of the other things that we've done is we've said, okay, if you tag the brand that you're working with, the brand can in real time get organic insights about how those posts are performing. Now, these are the three principles that we've had for our approach to influencer marketing so far. Transparency and integrity, as well as authenticity. Now, the next big evolution of where we think that this is going to go is under this idea of measurement. So this is why we're really excited to announce that we have a new product that we're calling branded content ads. And what this allows you to do is use that post that the influencer has tagged you in. What you can then do is you can boost that as an ad, just like you would any other ad on Facebook or on Instagram. And this has huge implications across the board. So here's 3 things that I think are really, really interesting about branded content ads. Reach. If you're working with an influencer, if they post on your behalf, maybe only a small fraction will see that post. By boosting it as an ad, you can make sure that whoever your target market is, whatever your reach goals are, you're able to make sure that you're hitting 100% of that target demographic. Now, the second thing that I think is really interesting is this idea of optimization as well, where we're saying now you can actually use the full power of Facebook ad targeting behind those posts. And then last but not least, all the measurement solutions that you know and love from Facebook and Instagram are fully available for branded content ads as well. Last but not least, how do you effectively collaborate with content creators? And I think that this is a really big question that brands have across the board. And so what I wanted to do is, instead of me talking about this, I'm going to call on my friend in a second. And here's a really funny thing. So my friend Belle, she posted this story a couple of months ago. And it just kind of looked like a normal, organic, authentic post. There was no hashtags, no label, no brands were tagged or anything like that. And then me being the troll that I am, I wrote on her comments, I said, where to buy your shirt, idol. And then she responded that it was Lacoste. And I just thought it was really cool because I couldn't really immediately see which brand it was from the post that she had done. And so right after I saw this, I actually ended up buying that exact same shirt myself. And so I was sort of thinking to myself when I wanted to have someone come on stage, really just be a better authority on this idea of how do you effectively collaborate with brands and with content creators. And every single time that I spoke to Belle, I just felt that she was so thoughtful about the ideas and the values behind partnerships, and I wanted to make sure that she was here today to share some of those insights with you guys. And then I also felt that if it was just me alone, not everyone would show up to the talk, so I wanted to give a little bit of star power to this discussion. So with that, can we welcome my friend Isabelle Daza.
Hi guys, my name is Isabelle Daza, but my friends call me Belle. I'm an artist and I'm also a content creator. And online I have 4 different kind of topics that I put my content under. So one is fitness, anything to do with food and workouts. Another one is lifestyle, so that's fashion, traveling, shopping, and hang out with my friends. And then I have in real life, which is my talks, similar to this one. And then the last one I have is motherhood. So I love to create content that I like. As a content creator, I've worked with several brands, and I've basically kind of carved out my 3 keys to effective collaboration based on my experience. As a brand, I think you need to define what you guys want, whether an endorser or a content creator. I'm in a bit of a tricky position because I do endorse brands and I also create content. Alex and I discussed this. I don't think one is better than the other. I think both are effective. It just depends on what medium you use and what you choose, and just having the right way to use that, the endorser or the content creator. So when I am onboarded as a content creator, there are always 2 questions inquired by brands or agencies. One is, what is your rate per post? And the second is, how soon can you post? For me, I like to get to know the brand first. So there are a few questions that I like to ask the brand. So one of it is, as a brand, what do you guys stand for? Because I have my certain values and I like to promote, for example, my mission is I want to be a role model to others, and my vision is I want everybody to be the best version of themselves. So the content that I create, I want it to be aligned with those values. Second is our goals. What are the goals of the campaign? Usually brands will come and say, we want trending, we want you to introduce the product to the market, we want to create engagement. And chances are, it's very few that you get all of these. Now we're a bit more informed that nobody has one formula to what a viral video will be. So as a brand, I always ask them, what are your goals? Is it to introduce a product, to create engagement on your comments, or is it to have an interaction with your audience, right? So one example is I worked with Carousel, this is an online platform, and their goal was to get downloads. And I said, okay, can I do what I want? They said, yeah, you have creative freedom. So I sold my clothes on Carousel via Insta stories, and I just kind of made it funny, like, oh, this yellow suit, I'm getting rid of it because I have more clothes than Chris Aquino that are yellow. And then like my shorts, I would say these shorts are gonna give you a wedgie, but it's gonna give you a nice ass. And to our surprise, it did really well. The app had a 20% retention, so they were very happy. And I like to use this as an example of effectively collaborating with a brand because they told me their goal. They wanted to inform people that, you know, we're an online platform where, let's say, stay-at-home moms can earn, and obviously they're sustainable because you're selling your old things. And it was just a perfect partnership, and they allowed me creative freedom. Sometimes a brand, they say, okay, we want to get you as a content creator, but post this at this time, and this is the caption, and use 5 of these hashtags and put a link. And Alex and I were discussing about this. Links usually on captions don't work because Instagram doesn't let you leave the app. You can't click on a link in a caption. Another thing is knowing your audience. I know that sometimes if a long caption is too long, people just scroll through, right? So it's really creating content that is a thumb stopper. And another thing is knowing which venue or avenue to put it. Insta Stories is very raw and real. It's not curated. I knew my audience, right? And I knew what would resonate with them. And so I told them, you know what? I think Insta Stories will be fine. Like, it's gonna make an impact. And they listened. So I really appreciated that. And the third thing is creating digital first content and authentic content. So let's talk about digital first. We had a discussion about how radio, and then it went to TV and print, and then finally Instagram, online, and Insta Stories. I think a lot of brands now are very aware that digital is the way to go right now, but a lot of brands are still a bit scared to go digital first in terms of the content they create. I see a lot of brands create a TVC and they cut and paste that and they put it on Instagram or YouTube. And I don't believe that that's really effective because essentially the tone is very different when we watch TV or Netflix, right? When a commercial goes on, what's the first thing we do? We get our phones. We don't watch the commercial on TV, we're on our phones. So creating digital first content is key. What I'm trying to say is right now people are still in that mindset of the TVC because this is what was known. This is a formula that's always worked. You have the hero, you have the problem, and then you have the product that solves the problem, right? But I think there is a shift in the market and consumers are more naturally drawn to what is raw, what is authentic. And that word is used a lot. It's a buzzword, authentic. What does it mean to be authentic when you're endorsing a brand or promoting a brand? It means, to me, I think, is finding the right balance of whether you use it, whether you don't use it, and really aligning the values of the brand with yours, right, in your own form. So then we go to Instagram. And a lot of brands in the Philippines still feel this way. Instagram feed, it's the king. Nobody really sees the value in Insta Stories, right? But I also have a brand, which is Frank Milk Bar. If you haven't tried it, we have one in Durieta. Shameless plug. But I see the consumer shift. I see that, you know, people love to engage. And what social media and what Instagram has really done for us is be able to give us feedback on the spot, right? So with Frank, we came up with products and we are always asking our consumers, what do you guys want to have, right? So these are like the donuts that we're launching, and we ask them, what are the flavors that you like the most that you would want on a donut? Would you guys eat a gluten-free baked donut? Because when people think donuts, no, they want something that's, you know, indulgent and sweet. And then our fans said, yeah, we would. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that Insta Stories is a great tool in order to engage and communicate with your audience. I think it really matters that, one, you find out the core value of your brand and whether or not the collaborator you're going to be using is aligned with that. And I think if you want to sway the hearts and minds of people, it's really about creating added value, right? And so we just want to end with a quote from Maya Angelou that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And I think that's very applicable with brands and online marketing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody.